Okay, so Smite2 Auto Builds are finally live, but with this addition of this awesome feature came a bunch of headaches in the way of bugs and glitches, right? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to generate an auto build and what to avoid in order to make sure that you are able to actually execute that set auto build with the least amount of glitches and drama as possible. So let's get started. What you're going to want to do is pick a god. So we're going to use Cuckoo for this instant, right? And you'll probably end up coming in this overview window. So at the top right, make sure you click on God Builder, and then you'll go into the God Builder for that set god. Now, I already have two builds for this, but we're going to create a new one just so I can demonstrate what to do and what not to do when doing this auto build. So at the bottom left corner, we're going to hit create, right? When we create, it's going to bring up this this new ability to build your abilities and your final build and what is known as your starting items, right? So if you hover over each little box up here on the right hand side of your screen, you should be able to see the various information for that set ability. That's important if you want to see how, if you put more points in a certain ability, is it going to reduce your cooldown? Is it going to give you more damage? Is it going to give you any type of additional slow potential, protections, etc., right? So it's very important that you hover over each ability so you can see what you're going to get with each point. Now, this point system is a lot different than initially when we got this auto build system before the actual auto build part of it went live. Before, when you got the God Builder, before it went into auto mode, you were actually able to click the various different boxes in front of that set ability, giving you, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points that you put in there. And if you messed up, you were able to right click on a number and it would erase it, right? Allowing you to put another number, or another point in another ability. Now with this new auto build system, the way it's set right now, there is no deleting a point that you put in there. So if you put a point in something and then you change your mind, or if you put a point in something and make a mistake, you literally have to scroll down here to clear everything out and then start all over again. So one little hack that I found is, at least for Cuckoo Clan or most of my gods, right, I always like to put at least 1 point in the alt as soon as possible. So I just go ahead and just spam the alt for all 5 points, and the system automatically puts a point in that alt exactly where the earliest you would be able to actually put a point in that. So it just saves time right there, right? Now for Cuckoo Clan, the more his whirlwind is like his bread and butter. So for this build, what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and try to max out his whirlwind as soon as possible, because the more points I put in his whirlwind, the faster it's going to come down. So it's going to go start off at 15 seconds and it's going to be reduced to 11 seconds, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put all 5 points in there. Now, as you can see, it put 1 and then it skipped 1 and went to 2 and then it skipped 2 and then went to 3, 4, like that. So what it's going to do by me sticking all 5 points in there as my priority for that set ability, it's going to put the points as soon as you can in that set ability, right? So it just saves you a lot of headache. It makes it easier. So then, I'm going to put a point in his number 2, and then I'm going to put another point in his number 3, and actually probably going to go ahead and max out his 3, and then go and max out his 2, right? And like I said, I'm just doing this build just for demonstration's sake. But at least you get the idea of how this works. But as you can see, if I right click on any of these, it's not letting me delete it. Even if I highlight this, the main ability and right click, it's gonna not let me delete it. You literally have to go down here to clear it out and start all over again. Now, if you didn't hear anything else in what I just said, please listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this is going to save you so much stress, right? When you go to do an auto build, do not, I say again, do not forget, or do not purposely not do this auto build for abilities at the very top. Because what's going to end up happening is, if you don't do your abilities at the very top and leave it blank and just go straight into your actual item build, when you go and actually into a match and click on the auto build that you choose, that you pin, right? By not doing those abilities, it's not going to let you build your abilities throughout the game. You're actually going to, zone into the game and have all the items that you purchase. But the problem is, you're not going to be able to upgrade your abilities. even if you sell and turn off auto build, the system as it is right now is not going to allow you to buy or to put points into each abilities. So you're pretty much going to just sit there stuck only being able to do basic attacks. I did not find any way of activating those abilities once an arena or any type of mode went live, a game went live, right? If you didn't put any points up here in the top. So please do not forget to do the various different points in your abilities, or you're going to be finding yourself in a heap of trouble once that game goes live. Okay, so we went ahead and put the points in our abilities. Now we're going to go down and start doing our build. Now, as you see this box that's highlighted right now, it has an S in front of it, right? So what that is, that's our starter item. So when you click on that, you see on the left-hand side that you have all these abilities that come up, right? And right here, obviously, it says starter. As the at the recording of this video, there is no filter system for the build sequence of items, right? Or the build menu for building items for an auto build. There's, you know, when you look on the left-hand side, there's no strength or intelligence or cooldown or nothing like that that we're used to seeing in Smite 1 when we're doing our builds, right? So we can just filter, and if I wanted to just see cooldown items, I can just click on cooldown items and it would only show us cooldown items, right? Everything is in the mix right now. Now they're saying that in the future they might update that, or at least they're trying to, from what I understand. But as of right now, that is not an option. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we're going to look for starters right here. Now for this build, say I wanted to go ahead and do more Archmage's Gem, right? You can see by clicking on it and went ahead and put it in here. Now, if I made a mistake and didn't want that, you can actually right click and it'll delete it, and then you can go ahead and pick something else. So once you pick your starter item, this is very important or your build is going to end up being broken and you're not going to have any starter item, right? So you want to do your max level starter item, right? So there's two tiers. You got, like, for instance, this Archmage's Gem, right? The tier 2 is the Archmage's Gem, but the tier 1 of it is a Conduit Gem, right? So down here in your starting items, you want to click on this also starting box and you want to click on that Conduit Gem. Right. Do not put the Archmage's Gem in this box right here. If you do that, you're going to end up with no starter item, right? So make sure that you stick the level 1 gem and do not leave this box empty, because if you leave this box empty, then you're also not going to be able to have a starter item. Even if you click sell and to click on there, there's been times where I could not even put anything in there at all. So I was pretty much stuck throughout the game with not being able to do or to put in there any starter item at all. So keep that in mind. Okay, so then for your level 1 or for your first item, you can pick pretty much anything. We're just gonna go with Chronos Pendant. You know, the second one, like I said, I'm just doing this really quick for demonstration's sake, so you guys pretty much understand how to do this and what to do and what not to do, right? Okay, so for the third one, we're gonna go ahead and go with the Totem, and then we'll go ahead and go with Obsidian Shard. And then we'll go with some, I don't know, let's throw some anti-heal in there, I guess, Divine Ruin. And then we'll go with Rada Tahuti, right? So this is the build that I thought would work initially. And if you look to the right, you're going to see a little R, right? A little R, and this is for your relic. Now, this one right here is not as important as the other ones. You can actually leave this blank, or you can put something in like beads. The way the system's working right now, when you go into a match, what's going to end up happening is it's going to show you, you know, what build do you want to use. It's going to have the name of your build that we're going to name up here at the top right, right? So for this one, we can actually put test build, and that would be the name of it once we sell it, and it's going to show the author as, you know, you, right? So when you go into a match and you pin this, and you have to pin your build, and I'll show you that here in a minute what I'm talking about. So once you pin this, when you go into a match, it's going to give you an ability to go manually, so you can click manually and be able to, you know, buy things manually and up your abilities manually, or pick the build that you pinned, or some of the Smite builds that they suggest that you use, right? So when you click your build on there, it's going to go to another screen that's going to ask you what relic you want to purchase. So even if you pick beads here, right, and then you go to log in and you see that the enemy has, like, say, an Odin on the team, and you'd rather have that Phantom Shell or something, right? You can actually click Phantom Shell and it will update your auto build and will give you that Phantom Shell relic instead of the one you put in here. So keep that in mind. Just because you put something in here for the relic only, you're not shoehorned into that. And by picking something different when you go to log into the actual game, it's not going to break your auto build. Okay, so now we finished that out. Now say that we made a mistake and we're like, you know what? I don't really want Divine Ruin, but I did want something like, I don't know, a different item, right? You can actually go back and like right click it and pick another item and put it in there. Like, or say I wanted to scoot everything over, right? So I want to go ahead and move that obsidian shard over. You'll see 2 on here, but it's not going to let you buy 2, right? So if you do that, what's going to end up happening, if I was to save this and go to the game, it would buy it in item 4, and then item 5 would be stuck. So make sure that you don't have duplicates. I'm going to go ahead and move this one over here and scoot that to the side, and then I'm going to move that Spear of Desolation to the side now. And then for the number 2 spot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, Book of Thoth, right? Because what's Kukulkan, has to have his Book of Thoth. Okay, so now I went ahead and finished out my build. I got the abilities at the top. I have my starter item, level 2 starter item on the final build. I got my level 1 of that starter item on the starting items. And then I got my full items build and my relic, right? So we go ahead and hit save. Now, as you see right here on the left-hand side, the test build, and that's what we named it, right? It doesn't have a pin. You have a pin and then a star. You want to make sure that you pin this, and by pinning it, but when there's a green pin right there, that means that when you actually go into the match, that is the build that's going to show you that you have that you can select to use when you go into the game, in lieu of the 2 Smite or 3 Smite or the 1 Smite build that they're going to offer you when you first go in. If you don't have a green pin in here, it's not going to show you that that build at all. And if you don't have a pin in any build, it's not going to show you any of your auto builds. So once you build a build that you want to use in the game, make sure that it is pinned. And for me, one thing I forgot to tell you too is right here in the modes, I use my builds on all modes. The only thing you guys know, the only mode I play is Arena, right? So I just leave that as all modes. But say you made a build just for Arena, you can click Arena in there. Or if you did one for Duel, you can do that, or you just leave it all modes. I just leave it all modes. I only play Arena. I don't care about the other modes, but that's just me, right? So we go ahead and hit save. Okay, so, and then right here, you can also click the star. I can't remember what the heck the star means, but I think that if you click on that star, it shares this build with the community. And if you turn it off, I think that it keeps it from sharing to the community. I think that's what it means. And if it doesn't, and if you know what that star means, please put it in the comments down below so I can share it with my Reapers, right? But for sure, you're going to want to make sure that that green thumbtack looking thing that is there, so you can pin that to your ability tree. Okay, so now what we end up doing is we're going to go ahead and start a game with Arena in hard mode, right? Now I'm going to show you what this is going to look like in real time so you understand the importance of having it pinned. Okay, so we selected our Kukulkan, and now we're in an actual match. We're zoning into the match, right? Now, this is the menu that I was talking about. If you look to the left, you can actually click on Manual, and it'll allow you to build your abilities and your items manually without having to worry about auto builds or the glitches that come with auto builds, right? Or you can try the build that you pinned, right? And as you look at the top left corner, you see that green pin. Now, even if you had, like, say 16 builds, the only build that you're going to see in here that the system is going to allow you to play with is going to be the one that you pin. And that's why I said pinning a build is so important, because if you don't pin anything, or if you pin the wrong build, that's what's going to show you right here, or if you don't pin anything, it's not going to show you anything, and all you're going to be able to do is build the Smite recommended build. So we're going to go ahead and click on our build and hit confirm. Right now, it's going to bring you to the second menu selection that I told you about when it comes to relics. Right, so right here, as you know, in our build we actually use beads. Right, now you can click on beads again, but say for instance, I saw that maybe they have an Odin that we're playing against, right? So I was like, yeah, beads is really good, but I'd rather have that freaking shell, right? That phantom shell. I can go ahead and click phantom shell and hit confirm. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see that not only did my abilities get bought in the order that I selected them in my auto build system, but it also started buying my my first item as well, which is that Chronos pendant. But the only difference is because I selected that phantom shell, I now have phantom shell instead of my purification beads that I normally had on when I built my auto build. So that's the only item that you can change going into the system that's not going to break your auto build, right? But once you're in, you can't sell or change this item. Once you're in the game, you cannot change or sell that item. And another thing, say, you know, I pinned the wrong build, right? So I can go to auto build right here and you can see the other builds that I have. So right now I have my test build that is pinned, but say, you know what, against this group, I don't want my test build. I'd rather have my high damage build, right? So I can actually pin this. And once you pin it, the only way I got it to work is by keep clicking on it. And you see how it has that circle in the front? I click it like that, and then once I click it a couple of times like that and have that circle going like that, and then hit pin to store, and then as you can see, it changed everything. But the only caveat is that now the system is no longer on auto buy. Anytime you change, whether it be your pin build or you actually manually sell or buy something, it automatically breaks your auto build system and you cannot start the auto build system again. So as you can see right here, we have 946 gold. We changed our auto build system, and then when we come back in, it doesn't automatically buy the items. Now the only cool thing about this is, even though my auto build system is broken, when I go into my menu, it still shows the build that I have. So I don't have to guess, oh man, what the heck did I have on that build, right? It gives me a template here. So all I got to do is just double click that first item and it automatically buys it for me. So instead of having auto build every time I go in, you know, to the freaking store, I just simply double click the next item in line real quick and then just go back out again, and then it'll automatically start building that item. And another cool thing is here at the bottom left hand corner, like say I come in here, you know, double click it and then I go back out. As you can see right here in this these two little boxes, once these things are ready to be upgraded to the next tier, you're gonna see these little gold arrows. Like right now, that's telling me, hey, you can do another upgrade. So I go back into the store. All I got to do is double click the item again, and boom, it just automatically upgraded it to that next tier. And that's pretty much it, man. So as you can see, if you do any change to this to your auto build system, you're gonna end up knocking out auto build. Now, two things that I got to point out to you too, right? The Baron and Vulcan have issues right now, right? So the Baron, I actually got it to work where if I put his Baron's juice or Baron's brew in the initial build, right, as the first item, and then in the final, right, on the final build item, I put as the first item, I put the Baron's brew, and then in the number 1 slot on the starting item, when we did our build, you saw there was different boxes. In the number 1 build on that, I put, you know, my number 1 item, which was Chronos pendant, right? So by sticking in the final item, I started with Baron's brew, and then I did the you know, the starter item, that Chronos pendant, in the number 1 slot. When I went into it, I was able to double click on the Baron's brew. It didn't automatically build Baron's brew, but I was able to come in here and double click Baron's brew, and it actually built it without breaking my auto build. And then it automatically built Chronos pendant in my number 1 spot, which was really, really cool, right? That's the only god that I was able to do that with. Now, as far as Vulcan goes, right? I tried everything under the sun to try to get his various different turret mods or turret mods to actually work. I stuck on the, I stuck all the turret mods in the, the starter line. I tried sticking them on final line. I tried all kinds of combinations, and I could not get his turret modes to automatically buy. And anytime you double click the turret mode to purchase it, it automatically broke your auto builds. So keep that in mind. Vulcan right now is a very broken when it comes to the auto build system. Hopefully they'll fine tune it and find a way to be able to incorporate those turret modes for Vulcan. But as of right now, if you like using those turret modifications, as I'm sure everybody does, right? You're not going to be able to use an auto build without breaking it. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that I have for this video. The main things that I want to highlight is, one, when you go to create your auto build, make sure you don't forget to put abilities in the ability block section, right? You have to fill up the abilities whether you like it or not before you go into actual item builds. Failure to put anything in those ability boxes is going to cause you not to be able to actually get any abilities in the game. You will not be able to upgrade your abilities in the game with that auto build system. Everything is going to be broken, so don't forget that. Two, on your first line on your final build, or your starting items, I mean, make sure that you use on the top build where it says starter items, you use the level 2 one, and then on the bottom one where it says starting items, make sure that you stick the level 1 of the item. And make sure you put something in there, like I said, because if you don't, what's going to end up happening is you're not going to get any start items whatsoever, and that's really going to screw up your build. And then the third thing, if you ever sell anything or if you ever have to switch your build and tack on another one, any deviation from the original auto build that you went into the game to use will break the auto build system. There's no such thing as turning on auto build and turning off auto build. As soon as you break that auto build system, you're pretty much not able to do auto build for the rest of that game. So keep that in mind. But hey, man, that's pretty much everything that we really pretty much encountered throughout this new exploration of the auto build. But like I said, it's still early in the development of the game, and they're still working on this auto build system. And who knows, by the time you're watching this, some of the stuff that we discussed today might already be fixed. But for some reason, you encountered something that I did not talk about in this video. Make sure you put it down in the comments down below, man. Like I said, the only way that we're going to learn how to work around all these glitches and help each other out to save everyone from having a headache is by pointing out these defects, especially if you have a workaround that might work for our community, right? It's all about helping the community help each other, right? So we have a better experience in Smite 2. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget about our Discord, man. I got an invite to the Discord description in any of our videos and our website, garzagaming.com. And I am now streaming every Sunday at 11:30 Central Time on YouTube and on Twitch, and every now and then I have a pop-up stream. So it's important that you also follow us on x.com on Garza_gaming, and or be subscribed to our Discord, right? Again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm Dark Garza, your OG on GC. We'll catch y'all next time.